You've been lied to about fear. They told you fear protects you, that it keeps you safe, that it's natural to surrender to it. But here's the hidden truth. Fear is the chain that keeps most people enslaved their entire lives. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, these men walked into storms that would shatter most of us. Wars, plagues, betrayal, exile, death of loved ones. Yet they stood unshaken. How? Because Stoicism taught them a power far greater than courage. A power so rare it almost sounds impossible. Stoicism taught them how to be fearless under fire. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if fear never dictated your choices again? Foundation 1. Fear comes from illusion. Fear doesn't come from reality. It comes from the story you tell yourself about reality. Think about it. When you're afraid of failure, are you actually failing right now? No. You're imagining a possible future and reacting as if it already exists. Fear is your imagination turned against you. But here's the secret. Marcus Aurelius wrote that it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. What you fear isn't the event itself, but the meaning you attach to it, the revelation. If fear is born from illusion, then dismantling the illusion kills the fear. When you stop labeling events as catastrophic, when you stop painting worst-case scenarios, you stop feeding the monster. The consequence: you walk into challenges calm. You face uncertainty steady. The fire burns around you, but inside, you're untouchable. So ask yourself, is your fear real, or is it just a shadow your mind created? Foundation 2. Control transforms fear into power. Fear thrives on helplessness, on believing that nothing is in your hands. But Stoicism destroys this lie. Suspense. What did Marcus do in the face of plague, betrayal, or war? He asked one question: what is in my control right now? That simple shift turns fear into action. Revelation. When you realize you control your thoughts, your actions, your decisions, you stop being a victim. The storm outside no longer paralyzes you because the fortress inside is unshakable. Consequence: fear weakens. Responsibility strengthens. You discover that most of the time, fear isn't about danger, it's about avoiding responsibility. But once you embrace responsibility, fear melts away. So the next time panic rises, whisper to yourself, what part of this belongs to me? Then act on that, and watch fear retreat. Foundation 3. Adversity is the training ground of fearlessness. The Stoics knew a truth that most people run from. The more you avoid difficulty, the weaker you become. Fearlessness isn't the absence of hardship, it's the mastery of it. Suspense. But here's what nobody tells you: fear grows in the dark. The more you hide from challenges, the larger fear becomes. The more you face them, the smaller it gets. Revelation. Every adversity you face is a training ground. Every insult, every setback, every loss is a weight you lift in the gym of the soul. And just like muscles, your courage grows only under resistance. Consequence: when you stop avoiding discomfort, fear loses its grip. What once looked like fire becomes fuel. What once looked like chains becomes a ladder. So ask yourself, what challenge are you avoiding because of fear? And what kind of strength is waiting on the other side if you faced it today? Foundation 4. Death is nothing to fear. Marcus Aurelius wrote that death smiles at us all, and all we can do is smile back. Fear of death is the oldest fear of humankind. And yet, what is it really? Suspense. You fear death because you think it's the end, because you think it will rob you of everything you love. But here's the paradox. Death is the one certainty you've always had. From the day you were born, death was walking beside you. Revelation. Death is not the enemy, it is the reminder. A reminder that your time is short, that urgency matters, that every moment wasted in fear is a moment you never get back. Consequence. Once you accept death, fear loses its final weapon against you. If even the worst possible outcome cannot destroy your peace, then nothing else can. So ask yourself, If death cannot scare me, what else possibly could? Foundation 5. Other people's judgment is powerless. Most fear doesn't come from real danger. It comes from the opinions of others. You fear rejection, mockery, being misunderstood. But Marcus Aurelius saw through this illusion. The judgment of others cannot touch your soul. Suspense. Why then do we tremble at their words? Because we hand them power they never actually had. Revelation. Their judgment lives in their mind, not yours. And their mind is outside your control, which means their opinions are irrelevant to your inner peace. Consequence. Once you stop fearing their judgment, you stop living for the crowd. You begin living for your own values, your own reason, your own path. That is true freedom. So the next time you hesitate, ask, will I live chained to their opinions or free in my own truth? Foundation. See fear as a teacher, not a master. Stoicism never denied fear. It never told you to pretend it doesn't exist. Instead, it asked a question. What is fear trying to teach you? Suspense. Because here's the truth. Fear always points to where you have room to grow. It reveals your attachments, your weaknesses, your illusions. Revelation. Fear doesn't have to be an enemy. It can be a map, a compass pointing toward the exact place where your strength needs to be built. Consequence. The moment you stop running from fear and start listening to it, the relationship changes. Fear becomes a guide, and you discover that the very thing you avoided was the exact thing you needed to face. So ask yourself, what is my fear teaching me right now, and how can I use it to rise higher? Foundation 7. Your mind is the last fortress. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Suspense. This is the ultimate Stoic weapon against fear. Because the world can take your body, your possessions, even your loved ones. But there is one place it can never reach, unless you open the gates. Revelation. Your mind is the last fortress. Guard it, and no fire can burn you. No enemy can conquer you. No storm can break you. Consequence. Fear becomes powerless when you realize that the world cannot touch your thoughts unless you allow it. And when your mind stands firm, everything else follows. So ask yourself, is my mind a fortress that protects me, or a broken wall that fear can invade? Foundation 8. Fearlessness is a daily practice. Stoicism was never about grand theories. It was about daily exercises, repeated over and over until they became second nature. Suspense. Most people wait for fearlessness to suddenly appear in a crisis, but that's not how it works. A soldier doesn't wait for war to begin training. He trains every day so that when the fire comes, he is ready. Revelation. Journaling, reflection, remembering death, practicing discomfort, meditating on control. These were the drills of the Stoics. Fearlessness is not built in a single day. It's forged drop by drop, moment by moment, in the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching. Consequence. When the real fire comes, you don't crumble. You stand because you've been training for this moment all along. So ask yourself, what will my practice be today? What small step will I take to weaken fear and strengthen my soul? Fear wants to burn you alive. It wants to whisper in your ear that you are too weak, too small, too fragile to face life's storms. But Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they prove that fear can be mastered. Not by running, not by pretending, but by facing it with reason, with courage, with the unshakable discipline of a Stoic. And here is the final truth. You don't have to wait to be fearless. You can begin right now. Fearlessness isn't the absence of fear, it is the refusal to be ruled by it. So when the fire comes, and it always will, stand tall, stand unbroken, because you were not born to be consumed by the flames. You were born to walk through them. If this truth resonates with you, imagine how much more you'll discover on this journey. Subscribe and walk with us into the wisdom of the Stoics. If you've stayed until now, You've already proven your pursuit of strength. Like this video, share it, and let's grow together. The next lesson may surprise you even more. What comes next could transform the way you face fear forever.